Friday Coffee Chat is returning. We made it, you guys. I know it has been a while. Thank you for giving me a little bit of grace, a little bit of break there. I needed it. But we're back, and we are back for real because we have a lot of fun stuff coming up on this channel and in this community. We have 1 week left of regular coffee chat before we will be moving into Spooktacular coffee chat, which is extra fun and extra amazing. So you might already see like a few little Halloween-ish type things starting to appear, but I'm actually ready to start decorating. I've got some little spooky earrings on today. I have my spooky notebook. I also just recently got some new accessories for my phone. This is my work phone. If you don't know, I have a separate work phone from a personal phone. So this is my work phone, and it's so cute. This is from Velvet Caviar. It has a very like Wednesday vibe, and I love it. It's so cute. How have you guys been? I know it's been a hard time. We are going to do everything that we can to make this as positive and fun and enjoyable and supportive as possible. So we're going to kind of dive into a few little details about what's coming up for Spooktacular, although I am not going to really announce the full details of it. Hey, Caitlin, how are you? We got a new member, which I think maybe you remember. Now you're rejoining. So if you are rejoining, welcome back. Angela has the hammer or the wrench today for the first time, just because we had, there are some things in current events that we just really don't want to talk about. Let's keep this a safe space for everybody, because we gotta keep it that way. So Angela will be marking down any comments that don't feel like they're supportive to the group today. So that's kind of my warning on that. Why did I avoid coffee chat for so long? I was not avoiding coffee chat, I was taking a break. And breaks are important for everybody, because if you go live every Friday for your entire life, it is exhausting. And I traveled all the way to Australia, which is a 16-hour flight both ways. Sometimes you just need a break. So here's to normalizing people taking a break when they need it. I do have Preptober stuff. So one of the things that I have been working with today is the Preptober planner, which is coming out potentially tomorrow, I believe. We'll kind of see if I'm able to get that going. But we have the Preptober planner is almost finished, and then hopefully I will get a little bit of time from Angela to proofread that for me if she has time today. But we've got that going on, and we are going to kind of talk today a little bit about procrastination and how I've been personally working through my own issues with resilience and moving into finding my own inspiration. And events like Preptober Rough Draft Challenge are part of that. And if you didn't know, if you are not a writer, you can still participate in Preptober. And well, the Preptober stuff might not be as relevant, but Rough Draft Challenge, there is a diamond tier. So if you don't know what this is, Rough Draft Challenge is a challenge that I am running. Pretty much you could do it any month you want, but in the month of November as kind of I don't even want to say NaNoWriMo replacement, but really more like our own NaNoWriMo type event, but it's our own thing. And it's called the Rough Draft Challenge, but there is a tier that you can choose called the Diamond tier, where you can pick any creative project you want. It can be actually a decluttering project. It can be a crochet project or a needlepoint project. It could be blog posts. It could be social media, setting up a website, like selling houses. Like it could literally be whatever. It could be a PhD project, anything you want. And that way you can still be invited to join us in the community, and you don't have to make it a word count thing. So feel free to join us. That is happening in November, but tomorrow or Sunday-ish, there will be a video coming out on my Heart Breathings channel where we are going to kind of talk about how I'm prepping to write my book, as well as, Preptober planner, which is really fun. I have a feeling everyone's going to be doing. Now that NaNoWriMo is officially kaput and over, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of NaNoWriMo events coming up, which, is obviously fine. However, it's like we had this one joined community, and now it's just going to be a lot of split events and communities, and you kind of have to find your place, which has its good things and then also feels like a little bit less like big group creative energy. Dabble is doing something. There's like 4 other YouTubers doing something, and it's fine. But I just want that like everybody all together. But we will do our best here in the Heart Breathings Writing community to do everything that we can. But before, like, we'll have that Spooktacular or that Preptober stuff coming, but we also have Spooktacular coming in this Sarra Cannon community. And I am very excited for that. I have been working very hard behind the scenes on a theme, on lots of various other things to bring together. So what I am not going to do, even though I typically would do, is tell you the theme yet and tell you the schedule yet, because there's still a few things that I'm ironing out. And I'm moving into my era of not promising things and instead waiting until they're done to announce them. And this is hard for me. This is very difficult for me because I am typically the kind of person who, when I get excited about something, I share it with everyone. And then it turns out I don't have time to do it on my own schedule. And then I'm like, well, that sucked because I told everybody about it and I couldn't do it. And then I always have this feeling of being behind, which is a little bit of what we're going to talk about today in terms of procrastination. But I am actively, and feel free to call me out kindly in a nice way. If you see me doing this, then I'll go, oh, I got to remember that. I'm going to change to a degree. I'm working to change my habit of promising things before they're ready so that I can enjoy the process of creation and then enjoy the fun of sharing it. Thank you, Jess, for saying that you can relate. Also, we're going to talk about Jess related things. If you're not following Joshi Corinne, she has an amazing channel, and I will be starting my own bullet journal coming up. So that's going to be a setup coming up soon that I can't wait to share with you. But I do think for a lot of ways, one of the ways that I get excited about things, and I've talked about this before, is sharing it. And then your excitement makes me feel excited. But there comes a point where it flips on its head because my excitement gets me talking about it. And then it feels like it's a promise I've made. And then when I don't do it on the timeline I originally thought, it feels like failure. And that is never a good place for creativity to live. And so I'm learning in my own new ways to move out of this like over promise and move into a place of over delivering and surprises. So I am not quite ready to announce Spooktacular stuff yet. There's Rebecca. Hello. So glad you're here. So I'm not going to announce anything, as much as I feel like I am literally chomping at the bit to tell you all about the fun Spooktacular stuff, because I'm hoping this is going to be really fun for all of us. I know it will be really fun for all of us, but I did ask in the Facebook group, by the way, and you can tell me here if you haven't put in your 2 cents or you're not on Facebook, what are the things about previous year's Spooktaculars, if you have participated in them, that you liked the best, that you would love to see back? So some of the things that I saw mentioned on Facebook were the scavenger hunt, right? So scavenger hunt would be fun. It's a scavenger hunt where every day of the Spooktacular, you have to go into one of my books that you have purchased and go looking for it. I didn't say that I have a ghost in my hair, but I do have a little ghosty. I found these little, I don't know what they're just hair clips. I forget what they're from, like Piper and K or something like that, at TJ Maxx. And so I have lots of them and they're so cute. The art, the movie nights, the crime stories. I had a lot of people say the true crime story, the creepy cat. So we did name the cat. The cat is named Vanessa Paws. And yeah, lots of surprises. Yes, do it in silence and celebrate loudly when it's done. And I have never really been that person before, but I am noticing how much stress and how much it takes away from my joy when I announce things that I can't follow through on. So that is something I'm going to work to stop doing. What was this journal? So this journal is an Archer and Olive journal, but sadly, you would only be able to get it on resale because it is something that they release seasonally. They have different journals, and then once they're gone forever. And this was one from last year's Halloween collection. It has something pink on the bottom. I don't know if it gets that. And I didn't use it. So this is a B5 size. It is quite pretty. It's really beautiful. I have one in an A5 size that has black pages, but this one has white pages with just white edging. And I have not used it. Many of you might remember I also bought this one last year. That was the square one that has the ghosts on it. I love this one, but this is definitely one of those situations where it's like you buy it and then you're like, oh no, I don't want to use it because it's too precious and I love it. So eventually I will use that one. I feel like that would make a good reading journal, but I have never been able to keep up with a reading journal. But if you go to Archer and Olive website right now, they do have a different Halloween collection. I ordered some things, but I have not gotten them in yet. So you might check that out. And actually, Joshi Corinne, where did you go? Has a coupon code. I don't know. You're here somewhere. If you want to post your coupon code in, it might be just 10 or just 15 or something like that, where you can get a percentage off, which I did use when I made my order. Yes, this is so true, Rachel. The struggle is real. I love beautiful notebooks, but then they stay unused. They always feel special. It's like something you always want. And what I did present, okay, Joshi Corinne 10. So if you go to archerandolive.com, Joshi Corinne 10 is a coupon code to use to get 10% off, something like that. I just got my new Halloween stuff from A&O today. Oh my gosh. Did you order on release day? Because I did. And I'm like, okay, let's see. Let's see if we can get this in. I got the bag, which I went back and forth, but it was so cute. So I did get the bag and I got one journal and I held myself to one because I know I only needed one. Need is a strong word. They will be even more special when you fill them up. I think somebody also asked over on Twitch, do I accept subs? I don't know. I think so. I think I have followers. I actually am the snake design. That's the one I got, the snake with the key. I had to have it. I could not not have it. But I think I accept subs. I did get finally like monetized on Twitch, but I don't think I've actually gone live since I got monetized. But a lot of people said also for Spooktacular that you want to see Twitch streams coming back. So those will be coming back as well, probably on Thursday nights. But I don't know what to play. Should I finish playing Silent Hill? Should I play something different? Should we replay like The Quarry? What do we need to do? So yeah, so I'm not an affiliate, but I'm monetized, which I would assume is partner, but maybe I haven't turned it on. So, but I have followers there. So I don't know if it's the same thing, but I don't think I have subs. I think it's something different. So I will go and look. I apologize. It was not there. Yes, it is possible to be monetized on Twitch, and there are many gamers who make lots of money there. I was not expecting it to be, or still expecting it to be a revenue source exactly, but it was a fun email to get. So thank you for everybody who has watched me over there. Log runners forever. We could replay Until Dawn yet again. Yeah, so I don't think I have subs turned on. You can follow me, but you can't subscribe. Silent Hill 2 was fun, and I still haven't even picked it up since I last played it. So maybe we restart it because I have no idea where I was. Yeah, we got to finish it. Okay. I hear you, Jeremy. We need, if you need help, feel free to reach out. I streamed on Twitch for a couple years. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I have no idea how to reach you. Did you email me? Let me know. Yeah, thank you guys. So we're definitely going to have some of that stuff, but there will also be surprises. And this will be the very first year for Spooktacular that we have a theme that is not just spooky. Like, I'm so excited. That is all I shall say. In other news, just kind of fun stuff. I have been prepping myself for writing. So we all know that I have not released a book since last October. And I ended up thinking that starting January, I would really I expected to restart or start working on A Mirror of Shadows pretty seriously in November, and then I got pneumonia and I was sick for months, plus things got so busy. Then I had a launch of this course and a launch of that course and then a travel to here, and life goes so fast. I feel like my life did not go this fast at 20 when I had less to do. And I was actually very busy, like in college and stuff, but man, I feel like you blink your eyes and you realize a whole month has gone by again, or now it's only a week until Spooktacular or whatever. And there are days when I just wish I could just scream into the void and be like, can you please slow down? Can life please slow down? And on one hand, I am so very grateful that I have a full life, that I have these beautiful children, which while we were gone, I think Eevee turned 6, because I don't think I have been live since before I went to Australia. So Eevee is 6 years old, you guys. She is 6. Andrew is 13 and has officially outgrown me. He is taller than both me and George now. And I feel like that is only going to increase. And he keeps saying things like, I don't know why, my shoes are just too tight. I'm like, dude, you are growing like a weed. He's in that stage. And we went to a taco place the other night, and I feel like it was just a few months ago that we were there, and he ate like maybe one taco and was like, I'm done. And he legitimately ate 9 tacos. And I'm like, oh no, we have hit the stage in boy grown up time when he's going to be eating 9, 10, 12, 15, I don't know, 100 tacos, and he's just going to grow 3 inches. It's just like, oh my gosh. We also did our very first ever high school visit, and we have started our application for Andrew's high school. Oh my goodness. Ooh, Carolina says, I read that if we do something different, like a new experience every week, it gives the sensation that time passes slower. My kind of dude, right? Like tacos forever. Has he started calling you bruh? I think he's said that a few times as a joke, but not seriously. But he does say like, Mom, are you still doing that in the big 2-5? And I'm like, the big 2-5, where did this come from? Oh my gosh. So by the way, it is sweating quite profusely, but I have a sugar-free, which I don't really do sugar-free very often, but I have cut sugar. And I told myself on Fridays I can get a sugar-free treat if I want one. Oh, and I just looked 222. There's a sign from the universe that says, girl, get your sugar-free. But we did go through the 7 Brew drive-through a little while ago, and I had a free drink. So that makes me happy. So this is blue raspberry and strawberry, and it is very good. It's their new flavor they call Boo Raspberry, but they don't have the pomegranate that goes in this in sugar-free. So I did not get the pomegranate. But it is good. The big 2-5. Like, Mom, are you still talking about that in the big 2-5? Like, oh my gosh, my 2.5-year-old is literally over half my height. Oh my gosh, Heather, are you kidding? Eevee is also very tall, and she is one of the tallest kids in her class. We did a big birthday party for her, and we have never had a birthday party for her where we invited her friends. We were supposed to do it last year, and Georgia's dad had a stroke, and I just couldn't do it by myself and host it here at the house. It was too much, because I was also hosting Publish and Thrive and launching HB90, and I couldn't do it alone. So she didn't get a birthday. And every year before that, we just had either neighbors over or it was COVID and she didn't have anybody over. Plus, we don't really have family that sends gifts. George's parents aren't able to send gifts. My parents aren't in my life. Like we just don't have, she's not used to getting gifts other than a couple things from us. And when I say that we go to every single birthday party that other kids have, I mean it. Like we do not miss a birthday party. And part of that is just because Eevee loves making friends. And she's such a ray of light and a lover in terms of like, she will meet everybody everywhere she goes, which is very much like me and definitely like my grandmother. Her name was Fern. And she was like that. She would get on a plane and she'd come off and she'd know everybody on it. Like Eevee is such an old soul like that. But anyway, we always go to everybody's parties because the first birthday party we went to, we were the only family there. And I thought, okay, we're going to every party because what if I don't want any kid to go without having at least Eevee is there, right? So we we go to every party, and usually there's about like 6 or 7, maybe 8 kids there. We had a party at our house, and of course, it was like I have, Publish and Thrive in the morning. I had a one-on-one coaching call, then Publish and Thrive, and then we had the party at 4, and we legitimately had 20 kids at our party, and several of them brought siblings, parents, all the parents came, and because my husband runs the dad group at school, a lot of the dads were here, which isn't always the case, so we had a full house and a full party, and it was so much fun. We just put out a huge, we rented a big bouncy house that is a water slide, and then I happened to find, like, multiple of those sort of small blow-up pools from Intex at TJ Maxx for $7 a piece. They're normally like 30. And so I bought a bunch of those, and we told the kids, bring your bathing suits because September in Texas is like the perfect time. And they had the best time. And at the end of the day, I asked Eevee, did she have a good time? And she said, Mommy, that was the best day of my life. And I just wanted to cry because she just was so happy with all the kids here. But everybody brought gifts, and she was like, this is better than Christmas. So she was very, very, like, excited and sweet. Oh, I didn't see, Kayla Thomas gifted a membership. Thank you for doing that. That's very kind. I love it. Evie and Fern. That is true, actually. So my grandmother on my mom's side was named Fern, but her name was Eva Fern, so kind of like Evie. And then my grandmother on my dad's side was Dorothy Grace, and I love both of those names. So sweet. But she had the best time, and yay, Kim. Kim's a new member. So good. Thank you guys for the gifts. And I am so excited to like be back with full energy and being ready for all the fall activities. Like, the weather's getting better. Like, it won't actually cool off to wear sweatshirts here in Texas for at least another 2 months, but I'm looking forward to it. It's like I get to decorate this room. So excited. Oh, Jennifer Grace. I love that. So sweet. 222 watching. Welcome, everybody. We got the good vibes going. I did light a candle called Energy Magic over here, and I brought my honey calcite, which is one that I got when we went on our vacation this summer. And this one, for some reason, just has like the best, really cold, like smooth, just is so good. I love it. I just put it on my face, which might be really weird. But I love this stone. It's just a raw stone of honey calcite, and I just really love it. I'm going to put it over here. So, okay. Let's talk about this journal for just a minute and a couple other things. And we're going to talk a little bit about procrastination and how I'm getting out of it and how I'm getting my energy back to a better place. But so this journal, I'm hoping to be able to record it. I will sometimes I want to record it. Just tell me if you feel this way too, because it's like I want to set this up, but sometimes the process of setting up all my camera stuff and all my things, and then I'm not great at deciding what goes in it first. And so sometimes I need a lot of time to like try stuff, and then I mess it up, and then I pull the stickers off and I do other things. But I feel like bullet journalists spend probably a lot more time than we realize planning their setup so that when they're recording, it looks very seamless. But I get nervous about it. So sometimes I want to set it up on camera because it's fun to watch that. But sometimes I'm just like, can I just set it up while I'm laying in bed watching something? And then I'll just show you guys a flip through. So I can't promise which one will happen. However, this is getting set up, and I will share a video of this going, okay, yeah. I pre-plan the heck out of my setup so I can film more seamlessly, like 3 hours planning for the same amount of filming. Yeah. And I don't have that dedication because I'm also like writing books and stuff. And I have a 2-year-old. I have a 6-year-old. I have 2 kids. So, whatever. And also we can all say congratulations to Jess, who just got married after like a 7-year engagement or something. I don't know I forget how many years it was, but it just made me so happy for you. So good. Do you have a top-down camera station? So I don't know if you're talking to me or Jess, because Jess is like professional bullet journal. But I have a like not a tripod, but like a ring light that has a phone holder, and I just put it over the desk, because when I used to put some kind of camera setup where it was sitting on my desk, every time I hit the desk, the camera shakes. So now it's sitting outside of that, and then I can just turn the light on and go. And then when I don't use it, I can just move it out of the way. And that has been working. And the phone that I use for that is just this one. And I think it turns out fine. Christy got married last July. Yay. Oh my gosh. So you just got like this past July, or last year, July? This year, July? Let us know. Jess has a top-down setup. It's permanently set up. Yeah, but that's like the primary juice of your channel. But I can show you guys a picture of the one that I have. I just got it on Amazon, and it's been working probably the best. Yay, 2024, a happy first year anniversary and a couple months change. That is very exciting. I hope your first year was incredible. But I will be setting this up as a kind of like the remainder of Project 49, because I was keeping Project 49 stuff in an Erin Condren, and I just feel like I want to draw things in as I want them instead of using Erin Condren stuff. And plus, this is so beautiful, and I haven't used it. And when I started going through it, I realized there's pretty much like enough pages just barely in the beginning to do a lot of like tracking and journaling. And I have already printed out my my vision boards for the year to put those in, and then enough to have a daily page for the rest of the year, and then the first 23 days of the year with a little bit of journaling in the back. So I need to get it set up, because I set out those pages on like September 8th. So I'm already 8 days behind. So we're going to get that done. I'm literally going to do it this weekend. But I have also been like preparing all my stuff for Rough Draft Challenge. And which book I'm going to be writing during Rough Draft Challenge is up in the air, because it will depend which books I finish before I get to November. Because I really have spent another year just starting and stopping the book, and feeling a lot of resistance. So when I say resistance, I mean resistance with a capital R. So that's where we're talking about procrastination. So when we're talking about procrastination and resistance, because most of my procrastination comes from resistance, and resistance to me is a feeling of, even though it was on my plan, even though I know that finishing it will make me feel really good, even though I know that getting it done, and even though it's something I'm looking forward to doing, I still resist it. So one of these things that I resist is setting this up. And I can identify for myself, why am I resisting this when I'm actually looking forward to it? And part of the reason I'm resisting it is because I'm afraid of taking out the camera and not fully having done enough planning to make sure that it looks the way I want it to look. So the solution for that for me right now is just to say, who's going to judge me if it's not perfect? Like, I'm not a professional bullet journaler, and even if I was, who cares? Like, Jess has a great video about how to print out your headers. Jess uses a lot of washi tape and things like that. She doesn't paint everything into her bullet journal like Plant-Based Bride, who I love. And it's just like, I don't have to put that pressure on myself. I can just literally set it up and it's fine. When it comes to the writing, it's easy to tell where the procrastination and resistance is coming from, because every time I sit down, it's these voices in my head, first of all, that say, people are already mad at me because it's taken me so long to write these books. And so it's like if you think about, okay, I'm trying to climb a mountain, but I'm like actually carrying uh, you know, I don't know, 50 pounds of weight, 150 pounds of weight behind me. And so every time I'd go up the mountain a couple steps, I just fall right back down. That is how I feel about my writing, because I can look back and I can see all the mistakes I've made. And I know that every time I talk about it to certain groups of fans, it's like, yeah, but where's book 12? Oh, but where you haven't finished this. You started this and you never finished it. And it's all true. I started 5 different series and I only think I've finished out one of them. And so I constantly have this feeling of, I've already messed up too bad and there's no way I can fix it. And so when I sit down, the weight of that is on my shoulders. But the truth of it is I can't go back and change the past. Like, even if you've made a mistake, even if you started something that you couldn't follow through on, even if you promised something you couldn't do, there's literally no way to go back in the past and change it. So if we carry that regret or that voice or that fear of criticism or those mistakes with us into the future, it's going to continue to hold us back for the rest of our lives. And eventually, we have to just forgive ourselves and say, it is okay that I made those mistakes. I did the best thing that I could do at the time. And there's no way for me to go individually to every writer that's or reader that's angry with me and say, I'm sorry. You know what happened is I was trying to write book 11 and I got attacked online and I had to get a lawyer and I was more stressed than I've ever been in my life. And then my house fell through and I lost it. And I had a almost like 1-year-old baby. Like, things were hard and I just threw myself into heart breathings because that felt much more nurturing at the time than trying to push myself to write a book. And I can't go explain that. It's like we can't defend ourselves to every person that thinks we did something wrong. And that is really hard for me because I always feel like, yeah, but I want you to know that I'm not a bad person or I didn't do it on purpose or I'm not slacking off. And eventually you just have to say, okay, what am I going to do moving forward? And what I don't want to do moving forward is keep procrastinating. I just want to be writing again. And I have wanted this for years and been trying so hard to get myself back to a place of joy and then being like, why is this not happening? And a big part of it, of that procrastination is that resistance. And I'm sure you have felt this. It can happen with emails we need to send. It can happen with things we want to start, things we want to go back to, people we want to have conversations with. There's resistance for things that make us feel fear. And I feel like resistance and procrastination is really just fear in disguise. And it all comes down to this. And we're going to talk about this for those of you that are in HB90. We're going to be doing this in our kind of like HB90 quarterly pep talk that we're going to have. If you didn't hear, there's a new thing. Yeah. And the whole world went off kilter, right? So it's like the world was also in lockdown and all kinds of things. And it's kind of like, okay, you can't live in your excuses for the rest of your life, but I can give myself that bit of grace and be like, you know what? It was just a hard time for me to write. But also, let me draw a line in the sand right now and say, but what do I want to do and what action do I want to take going forward? And I had this moment for myself, yeah, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago where I just said, you can just decide to let all of that go to the best of your ability. And I might have to let it go multiple times, but I can just say, you know what? I forgive myself. And I also know that I have hundreds, if not thousands of you that follow this channel and Heart Breathings that follow my newsletter list that are still here waiting. Like, you might not be happy that you had to wait 5 years for that book, but you're still here. And that makes all the difference. And like, I can choose to focus as much as possible. Like, my brain will go ahead and focus on the negative sometimes too, but I can choose to reframe and redirect that and be like, yeah, but like, Rana's not mad at me, and like Kate's excited or Kat's excited or Angela's always looking forward to the book and it's going to be great. But I just want to I know I can't cure procrastination, but I just want to get myself into a place where it doesn't feel heavy, where it doesn't feel like sitting down feels like an act of obligation to write, and where it feels instead like excitement to write. And that is really where my best writing is going to come from anyway. And I feel like last year when I went to the woods and did that writing retreat, although it terrified me, I did actually terrify myself. It also sparked kind of a fun excitement for me of like, oh, but this is the vibe of the story. And things started to click in a way that they hadn't before because I immersed myself and I allowed myself to let go of guilt, to let go of the timeline, and to let go of all the other things going on in the world for a little while I was in the woods. And I was so like hyper focused on my own safety, but also like, let's get this book done, that it opened and sparked something inside me, and I was able to get the book done. And I'm so proud of how that book turned out. But man, if you had told me last October, you know what, you're going to be sitting here next October, still haven't finished another book, I would be so mad at myself. And so I had this kind of, come to Jesus meeting, as we would say. Is that only a Southern phrase? Do other people say that? Do you guys say that in the UK? Do people say that in Australia and New Zealand? In Ohio, I don't know, but in the South, at least, we say come to Jesus meeting, where I just was like, okay, am I going to continue to just, when I tell you that A Mirror of Shadows I have started and stopped this book no less than 12 times, because every single time I start it, I hate it and I feel like it's terrible. And that perfectionism. Okay, you're from the far north in the US and you say it. So I wasn't sure if that's like just a US thing or just a Southern thing, but it might be a global thing. I don't know. Yeah, definitely lots of folks say it, but like just in the South. Jeremy, where are you from? You don't have to tell us, but I'm curious. You say it in Indiana. Okay, so maybe it's a US thing or it's an everybody thing. I don't know. Um, well, I had that moment for myself for sure, where I just was like, okay, but what do I want to do from here forward? And one of them, of course, is this commitment to it's because of consuming US media. I love it. Come to Jesus moment in Canada. It happens. Come to Jesus moment. Okay. So we say like come to Jesus meeting moment. Okay. I love it. Where I just was like, okay, but I get to choose. And I know okay. I'm getting ahead of myself because I made notes, because I'm like, okay, let's not get off topic. Here we go. Here's how I am dealing with this, because I made a decision for myself. Like, I don't want to lose everything I've built on Heart Breathings. I want to continue nurturing, posting videos, being excited over there. But also, I really want to be writing again, like be a full-time writer who sometimes does YouTube rather than a full-time YouTuber who sometimes writes a couple words on the page. And so how do I get out of the procrastination? Because I can sit here all day long and talk about the things I'm excited to write, but unless I actually sit down and do the work, it doesn't matter and the book won't get done. And unless I can actually get past that point where I am constantly stuck in a overthinking procrastination mode, nothing's happening, right? Well, over the last week alone, I have made massive, substantial progress on the shadow games, like massive progress. And I am very excited about it. And a big part of why I'm even writing a spinoff instead of just writing book 12 is because book 12 feels very big. And I just need to get back into the world of the shadow demons in my head and get excited and feel like it has momentum. But somebody said, how many work in progress do you actually have open right now? I have 3 works in progress open. One, of course, is book 12, which has about 55,000 words to it right now. And then the other is, second one is A Mirror of Shadows. And then I have a third work in progress that is a different genre entirely. And who knows if it will ever be published or go anywhere, but it was just kind of like, get yourself writing again, kind of thing. And it is a women's fiction kind of story. So I may not do anything with that. It's not like plotted. It's just like, I don't know, I'm writing it for fun. So how do I get back to that place where I'm pumped and excited? Because I really, oh my gosh, 17 works in progress. Yeah, but Rachel, you publish a lot too, don't you? Like, you're not just doing it. Rebecca has 7 books in progress, and this, no judgment, right? Because you have ADHD and you are, and I think Rachel, you do too, right? So sometimes when you have ADHD, it's good to have projects that you can pop around between, because it's like, what has energy today? And that's fine too. But for me, I want to actually get these books done. So the Shadow Games will have at least 3 books, but they're short, and it's kind of like a series broken into shorter books. It's probably going to be 5, so we'll see. When is the HB90 pep talk? It is probably going to be on Monday, the 29th, which is the first day of the quarter. I'll announce a time and get that scheduled and send an email coming soon. So yeah, you guys get it. But I want to write that and then get book 12 out early next year. Like, I know I don't know. That's not a promise. That's just the, like, in a perfect world, if I could get back into my writing. So how am I doing that? And how have I been able to make as much progress over the last week or two as I have on my energy? So we're going to go through this. Number one, stepping away from triggering spaces. I mean, I probably don't have to go into detail about that too much, but like we all have our hot buttons, right? So, like, if you have a neighbor who's constantly saying things like, well, who writes books? That would be stupid, you know? Well, I mean, that's not going to foster your creativity, but also, without going into too many things, but like if the news, if social media right now is just making you feel negative and hopeless, then maybe that's not a great place to foster your creativity. And we won't go into it more than that, but like getting grounded and centering on what's important to you can be super, super helpful. And so as much as I sometimes also resist meditation, I have been sitting down every day for at least 10 to 15 minutes, which isn't a lot of time. It started with 5 minutes a couple of weeks ago, and I've been building on it to just get quiet and get centered. Sometimes, do I actually take this stone and put it on my face because it is cold and soothing? Yes, yes, I do. And I am not making any apologies about that. Sometimes I put it here, sometimes I put it on my stomach. But I just love this stone. It has such good energy. It's very comforting to me right now. Um, so I just have been sitting down, face stone. It's so true. Well, you know, we make no apologies for our weirdness around here, but having that moment of getting grounded, because what I started to realize was happening for me was I was getting into a loop of, let me get up first thing in the morning, check social media and make sure nothing in the world is on fire, in which case you always find out that the world is on fire. And then there's emails that come through with people that need help or people that are angry about something or people accusing you of something. And then you have to deal with that because I still don't have the best boundaries, which I know I need it, on who's checking my emails. All things that are work in progress. And then I will find, because I picked up my phone, now I'm suddenly on Instagram and scrolling when I didn't mean to be. And it's like, oh my gosh. Okay. So then 30 minutes later, I'll realize I've been deep into somebody's argument about whether you should be eating this or that. And how come, why don't you aren't this? And you're judging me for this, and doom scroll, doom scroll. And it just steals my brain for a short period of time. And usually I walk away from it feeling either lots of comparison, where I'm like scrolling and being like, man, that girl's 22 and she's got twice the career I do, 5 times the career I do. What's wrong with me? Why can't I get to that place? So then I start being mean to myself for literally no reason. Because no one else's success has any bearing on mine. There's room for all of us. And there's nothing wrong with me if I'm not at the place she is, because we're all on our own journey. But man, it will swallow me whole. And then I'll be like, okay, well, now I got to go check on Facebook to see if anybody requested to join the HB90 bootcamp. And all I'm supposed to do is go check to see if anybody requested to join my Facebook group. But somehow then I end up there for 30 minutes. And Facebook is even worse with people arguing. So then I just end up in a place where there is so much buzz and noise around my head that my thoughts are just ping-ponging between things I'm angry about, things that I wish I could respond to, things that I feel like are unjust, or, you know, whatever's triggering. And it can be any number of things. It can be people just arguing about the types of diapers that they use. And I don't even have a kid in diapers anymore. And still I'm invested in the argument. And it's just like, okay, I have to get away from this. And it is difficult, but it is addictive behavior. And for me, it is just as toxic as if I was doing drugs or something. It has a very negative effect on my mental health. And so I finally was like, okay, I'm going to, whenever I start to feel that, because if I do that and I'm in that scroll place and my head is buzzing and I've got all these thoughts going, what it steals from me truly is my thinking time. Because when I was writing several books a year, the biggest thing that was helpful for me was that I was always thinking about my story. I call it like rumination time. I I'm sorry, this is the comment of the week. 6. Thank you for that laugh because that was perfect timing. If I put myself in diapers, I would get more running done. So true, right? Which kind of diapers? Let's go argue about it. But I love it. That made me happy. I I will miss out on all that rumination time because I am definitely not a person who just pantsses it. If you're not a writer, pantsing is the act of just sitting down with no real idea of what you're going to write and just writing. And I'm so envious of pantser writers because it seems like it's so easy, although I'm sure it's not. I'm sure we all have our own challenges, but I like to know exactly what is happening in the story. And unless I can see it playing through my head like a movie, I don't feel strong enough to write it. But the problem is if I'm not thinking through it while I'm in the shower, while I'm going for a walk, while I'm making breakfast, while I'm putting on my makeup, like that all used to be rumination time. And then George and I would play video games all night for the win back before we had kids. And while we were playing games and like doing crafting and stuff like that, I would be talking to him because his desk was right next to mine. I would be talking about the story and I would just be like always ruminating about it. And I love that. And I don't have that time anymore because now I find that if I have any of that kind of free time, I'm either filling my head with a podcast or trying to learn something, or I am arguing with invisible people in my head because of social media, or I am thinking about my next heart breathings course or YouTube or somebody's problem or something someone asked me about. And I just do not anymore make time for that book rumination. So yes, this who said meditating. So that is one of the things that has been helping me the most, which is where we started to get grounded. I have started meditating more, and I've pulled multiple different types of meditation from different like apps I have, from YouTube, from courses I have, different things like that. And I am trying different styles of meditation, and it has been very helpful just to quiet and calm the noise and then redirect my brain to a specific story question. Like, what is going to happen here with Slate? And why does this and this? And what's the currency in this world? Or what's this? Because there's a lot of world building decisions to make when you write fantasy. So I've been thinking about that. And that has been, yes, my head is always buzzing with news, current events, criticism, comparison, when it used to be buzzing with ideas, right? Honestly, the meditation stuff, the grounding exercises that have been helping me the most are paid through Mind Valley. If anybody here has Mind Valley, the like Silva Ultra Mind method has a few meditations in there that I have really found helpful. And also another app that is paid. I don't have a free resource that has been the best. I apologize, but is To Be Magnetic, which is called TBM. That has also been really helpful. So both, I kind of been alternating those. I've tried a few different like meditations on YouTube, and if I find the ones, I can go back and look through a couple that had good, but there hasn't been one that I've been like, okay. The Dose book by TJ Power sets tasks so you can get yourself thinking again. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to write that down so I can remember that. But kind of stepping away from some of those things that get my mind buzzing in a negative way, and instead getting to a little bit more of a grounded, centered place, and being honest with myself and trying to catch it when I've found myself in a doom scroll. And one of the things that's been helping with that is that I have been reminding myself that everything is like a budget. Like if you only have $100 of spending money for the month, do you want to spend it on groceries that will nourish your body, or do you want to go splurge it on more stickers when you already have stickers? Bad example because I will often choose the stickers. Let's see. Have you ever like bought something in the moment because you're like, oh, I have to have that. And then when it got in, you didn't even use it. And then later you look at it and you're like, I wish I could have returned that because I just wasted money I could have spent on this other thing. And I feel that way about my, okay. So Vishen, Lakiani is also, he's the guy that runs Mind Valley. So he has free stuff here on YouTube. Awesome. self hypnosis. There's lots of, if you guys are interested, there's lots of suggestions here in the chat. Headspace has meditations, and I think there's a free version of that, or at least a free trial. That is one of the places I have started. But yeah, it's like, I am trying to think of it like a budget. Like if I only have 2 hours of good thinking time, do I want to be thinking about somebody's argument on social media that I could have zero effect over? Or do I want to go write powerful books that will give people escape and inspiration and fun in their future? Like it's a no-brainer, which I would rather be doing. So I'm trying to wake myself up and be more intentional about how I'm spending that time. So, the second piece of that is getting really clear about who am I? What am I trying to do here? And why does it matter? You guys know I'm thinking about that kind of stuff all the time, but I do feel like procrastination and resistance often comes from a lack of certainty about where it is we want to go. And the more you can get into a place where you're like, that's what I want, that's the goal, the more motivational it can be to actually sit down and write. And so when I started looking at that, okay, I know what I want. I want to be selling more books again. I want to be talking about my books. I want to be reading them on YouTube. I want to be doing more Broken Chapter Society stuff. Like I really want to be having fun with this community more. That's the vision. Now I have to put in the action to actually do it. And when I ask myself, why am I not doing it? I came up with, first of all, that answer that my brain is buzzing with other things and I don't have time to like think through my ideas and make decisions. But another piece of it is I'm scared that I won't be successful. And there's this feeling of, okay, I had massive success. I was never a breakout. I was never a bestseller. I was never like number one in any, well, I was in some stores, but like I never had like a new release hit top 100 at Amazon overall store, like stuff like that. I never had that kind of breakout success, but I was successful. And if you look at my books now, they're not anywhere near that successful. I still will be grateful for every sale that I have, but I'm not making 6 figures on my books right now or having that like constant sales coming in. And there's a fear that I have of, if I sit down and I give myself to this goal, what happens if all the mistakes that I've made prevent me from finding success? And I find out and have to face the painful realization that I lost something that was important to me through my own fault or own mistake. That is really at the root of it. And even though that is a painful thing to think, it is a powerful thing to realize that that's where the fear's coming, because once I realize that that's the fear, I can begin kind of having a conversation with that fear, because I can say to myself, oh my gosh, I did it once. I can do it again. I can start pouring myself with positive motivations of like, oh my gosh, I sold thousands of copies of The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, and that's a standalone. Look what will happen when I get back to the Shadow Demons world, which was my most popular world. And these books are going to be so good with all the things that I've learned over the last few years. They're going to be even better than anything I've written before. And oh my gosh, like who cares about mistakes? Look at how fun this is going to be. Look at how great these books are going to be. Look at all these people that have supported me and stuck with me for all this time. And I can give myself that and focus there instead of on the past, which feels like pulling weight behind me that's just slowing me down. And that is more likely, that negative talk is more likely to be the thing that keeps me from finding the success I want. So I can just let that go and give myself positive feedback and say, even if I was starting over, look, I'm starting over with a better platform than I had when I started 15 years ago, right? And yeah, and then also redefining for yourself, what is success exactly? Like, is success only hitting top 100 at Amazon? Gosh, that's so rare. Like hardly anybody ever does that. Why do I don't need that. I just want to write great books and have people enjoy them. So like I can talk myself out of that fear to a place that is more logical and exciting for myself. So identifying sort of that fear or that limiting belief and really thinking about like, what are you doing? You're serving your audience. You're giving them something that they want. You're building community. Like I have met so many people, like Timoana, for example. Like we're such good friends now. We would have never known each other if it hadn't been for the Shadow Demon Saga. And that is true for many of us here. And so it's like, yeah, let's keep that going. Think of how many more friends I can make, how many more people's lives I can impact. It doesn't have to be a million to be successful. That's ridiculous. Why am I putting that pressure on myself? So like getting myself out of that and taking any negative thoughts that I can identify that aren't even really true, but those fears that get in my way, and reframing it and getting myself back into a place where I'm feeling inspired by my work instead of worried and focused on the negative. And that has been making such a difference. So I have been uh just, I mean, when I tell you I have just filled, my one notebook is not here. Oh, it's in my bag down below. I have been using my I pulled out my Halloween bag. This is my Halloween Tokidoki bag. I'm using it now. Somebody said, what does my shirt say? It says Pretty Girls Read Books. Pretty Girls Read Books. So this is my plotting notes, and I have filled pages and pages just in the last few days. Like literally all of this has been filled just in the last 2 days, because the ideas of me like allowing myself that rumination time and letting go of that fear bit by bit and giving myself the meditation has got me going. Ideas are flowing. George and I went to Panera today. We went to Panera and then we went to Seven Brew. We were treating ourselves today and we talked through story. I took my, I have my giant plotting sheet. It's getting crunched up, but I have my big plotting sheet. And yes, I am starting the story again. There's still some scenes from the stuff I wrote before that I will still be using. But I feel like I finally have the opening of this book. And this has been the main part that has been holding me back, because I have scenes that happen later that I know I'm keeping, but it's just that opening scene is terrible. And I'm like, come on, I got to come up with this. It just has to click and feel right. And I finally have it. And the fun and excitement of that right now is all I need. Just focus on that, focus on the work, focus on the fun. And I know that we can't completely shut out the world. Like there are things that are important to know. There are things that we maybe need to be able to support and comfort people about, but also our lives don't have to be consumed by it. We can also focus on the things we want to create and the good things we want to put out in the world. And we can focus on good communities like this, where we feel good, where we're working together, where we know there's good people. And I just feel like if you are in a place where you feel like you're having heavy resistance, no good ideas, you're feeling down on yourself, down on the world, hopeless, procrastinating a lot, feeling lots of resistance, like I told George just a few weeks ago, I was like, I think when I was coming back from Australia, and I think too, it was also jet lag, like, let's be real. But I told him, I said, I think I'm entering a mild depression. Like I could not get out of bed. I was really struggling. And it was just like, I can't live like this. I cannot live like this. And I know that it's not always simple to just pop out of depression, because I have been in many problems and depression stuff before. But when you feel yourself starting to go to that place that doesn't feel good, and you can see yourself slipping into old habits that really like were a blanket being pulled over you, it can be helpful to try to reach out to these tools to really get yourself back into a place where you're getting excited. And I started to really feel myself falling into that place. And I can't really fully express it other than to say, I felt like slowly I was pulling a weighted blanket over my head, is what it felt like emotionally. And I thought, I don't want to go to that place. So I'm going to do what I can to pick myself out of it, but also be kind to myself if I need the rest. So I did give myself some extra rest. I did give myself the, extra nurturing, but I finally did some of the things that I have been wanting to do to change my habits and behaviors with my PCOS and the supplements and things that I'm eating. I have started taking action on meditation and doing that. And I know sometimes you're going to procrastinate the things that are good for you, but hopefully this gave you a few ideas and just a little bit of an hour time where you can smile and laugh and enjoy time together and kind of get some support on it. Because I feel like in the end, when we look back at the end of our lives, the things that we'll regret is, oh my gosh, look at how much time I spent being worried about everybody else and didn't create the things that I wanted to create, which is not a way to put tons of pressure on yourself, but just to say, you were put here for a reason. And it, there are like one of those reasons is just to experience joy and to express yourself in a way that feels good. And we got to get back to a place sometimes if we're out of it where we're just starting to be feeling good again. And these are the things that I've been doing the most. So I'll go over them one more time and then we'll say goodbye. But stepping away from triggering spaces or things that are filling my brain and getting grounded and meditating, to getting really clear on what it is I'm trying to accomplish and what really matters most to me. So I don't let time slip away, like spend my time budget on things that really don't matter to me or that are making me feel bad. And number 3, really identifying those limiting beliefs and fears and starting to shift it by like one of the mantras that I've been feeling drawn to is I can't lose. And for some reason, that one just stuck in my head. I heard it on like a motivational video. I think it was David Goggins or somebody said it. And I just wrote it down. I was like, yes, that is my new mantra. I can't lose. So anytime I'm thinking, oh gosh, what if I can't pull myself back to the previous sales? What if I can't this, blah, 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 whatever. I just say, I can't lose. Like as long as I'm loving the books I'm writing, then the right people will love it. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 people or if it's 100 people. Like I just want to keep creating. And so that is where I've been focusing my mind and also kind of giving myself a moment every morning to focus in on gratitude, because to me, gratitude and self-forgiveness are 2 of the most powerful tools that we have that are free. And just like walking around my house and being like, oh my gosh, I get to live in this house. Like how much of my life did I, like when George and I met, I had lost my house to fire twice. I had pretty much lost everything I owned. And we were living in what was very like, we loved that house, but we were living in a very small townhouse with no backyard, hardly any space, terrible wallpaper, like appliances that kept breaking down. And now we live really in our dream house. And I sometimes take that for granted and forget when I get mixed up in the world and my worries and fears and all the stuff I have to do and my to-do list. I forget that like I created this. And I didn't do it alone, but I did it out of sheer creativity, and anything is possible. So I'm going to be super grateful for that. And I'm not going to take a minute for granted. And that has been helping me a lot to get into a better place as well. Ah, perfect timing. Panera plotting your novel. Oh, you forgot about coffee chat. That's okay. Replay is here for you. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those weird things of like Heart Breathings wouldn't exist if I hadn't been a writer. And those books just came out of my brain. Like I didn't make a product. I didn't sell like a widget or invent something. I just made up stories. And how cool is it that we can make up stories and other people can see the same thing that I created in their minds? Like it's magical. And I just don't want to take that for granted. And so, yeah. A Mirror of Shadows. Hopefully we'll be doing, some of you have seen the cover, but hopefully we'll be doing a cover reveal soon. But when it's done, it will be ready. And I will announce it when it's ready. And next week I will be announcing our Spooktacular theme and our schedule for the week. And it's going to be good times. So thank you guys for being here. I am so, so glad that we are back to Coffee Chats. Thank you for coming back, even though we've been gone for, I don't know, a month and a half. I just needed a break from being live all the time. And it was good to have that break, but now we're back and it's feeling good. So thank you for being part of the community. If you, have not gotten your Broken Chapter Society stuff, I haven't sent anything out that is anybody new that joined in July and August. So those will be the next things coming. And so look, if you're in Broken Chapter Society, look for a post coming up this weekend about how to make sure that I have your address, because most of the old ones have gone out. So you should have already gotten yours, or I did get 3 back that said undeliverable address. So I will be reaching out to those people to figure out what your actual address is. But otherwise, we'll be sending the people that have joined since July, those will be going out soon. And then new surprises potentially for some of you in the mail coming up soon. And, lots of like little extras. And those things are actually done. So I can say that that's coming. And it's just going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. If you have never done a Spooktacular with us and you are new to our community, Spooktacular is the annual celebration of my first book, Beautiful Demons. And this year is 15 years since that first book. So we're going to have some special things coming this time. Also, for those of you in the Broken Chapter Society, book 4 audiobook is coming in the next couple of weeks. So be looking for that. And that's it, you guys. Thank you for being so cool and such a great community. I love you guys, and more news and announcements coming next week. All right. See you then. Bye, everybody. Nope.